Yes, we're here again. I know it's been a minute, YouTube. My apologies for the absence, but business as usual. I want to take a deep dive into this Dahmer series. For those who do not know or are not familiar with Jeffrey Dahmer, in the late 70s, 80s, up until the early 90s, he went on a reign of terror, preying on black and brown LBGTQ men, homosexual men, eating them, dismembering them, and everything in between. This is a story of not just Jeffrey Dahmer and his evil history, but the society and the police in the area who pretty much allowed this man to do this. They allowed this man to prey on these black and brown boys for a span of maybe 10 years. Numerous calls made, numerous complaints filed, no response. They even returned a boy to him to ultimately become a victim when he escaped initially. This is how America has always treated black and brown people. And I'm not going to make this about race, but that is something you need to pay attention to. But let's get into the psychology of this man that has met his demise. We like to think that there is no good and evil. There is no evil that pretty much weighs on the same scale that good does. It is a lot of evil people in our communities, in this world. People are evil. You pick a side. You pick the side of the coin in which you want to, or the side of the fence in which you want to stray. You want to behave. This man was dismembering people in his apartment and putting them in bales of acid. Heads in the refrigerator. Yet he's able to go and have a trial. Yet they're shooting people that have Skittles and iced teas and knives. It's crazy, right? But this Dahmer series basically revealed the nature in which a man will prey on you. Men are predatory, absolutely. You see the stories with these little girls and boys. If you want to see the true nature of a man, go and look up Chris Hansen. Go and look up Chris Hansen, How to Catch a Predator, and you see all of these men coming with 6 and 12 packs of beers for meetings with little girls and boys. Some of these are high-ranking officials. This is why image is so important, because these same officials that you see in the judge in the judge robe and the robe that the pastors wear, the physicians, the uniforms, these are the very same men that prey on children every day. They're predatory. They're predators because they have a sickness about themselves. They have a lack of identity and a lack of self-control. They have these awkward desires. They're trying to normalize, minor attractive persons, if I'm not mistaken. They're basically trying to normalize pedophilia. I did a report about this back in 2017. I think it was New Jersey trying to pass. It was New Jersey, it was one of those states trying to pass legislature that basically gave amnesty to pedophilic men. Trying to normalize it as just another letter under the alphabet. And we sit back and we just take it. You throw your children in these public school systems and they're teaching all of this confusion to where when they get out in the real world, they've consumed and have been taught so much confusion, they don't have any real life skills or understanding of processes, systems. That's normally what math and science, when you look at photosynthesis, is really not useful information. You can't name me one time you use photosynthesis in your life, but you were taught it to understand the process that something has to undergo to become whole or complete. Metamorphosis, the cocoon. You were taught these things to know this is what takes place or what is needed for this to be start as a seed and grow as a tree or a fruit. But you haven't used any of these concepts. You have not used the Pythagorean theorem. You've not. But these predators are doing everything they can to show images constantly that desensitize them to make you accept it as norm. Which is why you have the P-Valleys, the empires. You have men signing up for this because they need a check. Yes, I'll kiss a man on TV. This is what they're saying. And they're getting interviewed by other men because the other men do not own the platform. They're just the host. Hey, you're going to interview such and such and talk about how he kissed this man for 30 minutes. Hey, you're going to interview such and such and you're going to talk about this and that. I'm talking to black men today because you were the victim of this DAHMER demon that used to eat you. And simply say, they should have been known about Jeffrey Dahmer. He'd been out. It's not about. See, people have this. I been knew about that complex. Oh, I been knew that. Who gives a shit what you been knew? To make it appear as if they're hip or they're up to date on all the latest haps. But as black men, you sign up to be America's punching bag, fall guy, villain, etc. The same way they're doing Emma Udoka in Boston. In a white city, he's the talk of the town. He's the talk of sports. That is nothing. You have hospitals in which the wife and husband work in the same unit, on the same floor. But because he was, quote unquote, engaged to Nia Long for 10 years, let's ask, why is he engaged to a woman for 10 years? Both of them are on the bullshit, but it only shows one side. This is not news. This is not a headline, but any opportunity to paint black man as an evil person or a villain, they're going to run with it. They're going to run with that. This Dahmer series was very revealing to how gullible men can be when they're simply looking to be loved. These men that went into his apartment, when you're looking at it from the theatrics, simply one guy, he thought this was going to be his lover. He's looking to be loved. And you notice the only father figure that was in this series was who? Jeffrey Dahmer's dad. Out of all of these 17 victims, you saw neither one of their fathers, except one. I'm sorry. I think it was the Asian victim. Let me take that back. I think it was one father. But for the African-American men that were killed, you didn't see their fathers nowhere. So he knew what he was doing. He was intentionally going into these communities. He would try to pay. See, the Caucasian male they're very strategic and very good at playing dumb. They know how to play like they don't know what the hell is going on. That has been their superpower for their entire existence. They act as if they don't know that they're locking black men up, shooting and killing them from a simple traffic violation. Yet you have white males who have shootouts with the police and get taken in alive and even get taken to get something to eat on the way in. This is where we are in society. This is why you need to see things like this. You need to see the privilege that you don't get. This is Jeffrey Dahmer. They gave a boy back to him after he escaped because they didn't want to believe the black women telling him, this guy, this child, this is a child. He is not safe. You need to look into this. It's all genetics. The Caucasian male is very cunning at playing stupid, acting as if racism does not exist. All of this privilege, it does not exist. That's bullshit. It still exists. But you think because you get to make $1 million that white privilege don't exist. Okay, rapper who made what Jay-Z made, a couple hundred million, billion. Go build black communities outside of the U.S. that's sovereign to the U.S., that's immune to the U.S. for black people to thrive. Go do that and see what happens. Go do that. P. Diddy, Oprah, Tyler Perry, go do that and see all of a sudden you owe $800 billion in taxes. He owes $600 million in taxes all of a sudden. People would rather live on their knees than die on their feet. But the reaction to this video is simply what everyone else's reaction would be. It's evil, dark. But it's so many things that you see in this series that is not highlighted. The white privilege being one of them. The lack of father and protection for these black and brown boys is another. The cunning way he was able to manipulate these boys back to his apartment because they needed what? Money. He had a whole system in place. He had a whole entire system in place. And if you go and watch the trial go watch the real trial and look at the footage of Tracy Edwards. He can't even look at him in the face. He's still traumatized to this day. And I want to say he recently got caught up in a homicide to where he's the suspect. But there's more than Jeffrey Dahmer running around. There's a Jeffrey Dahmer right now being born, being bred, being sculpted the same way his father sculpted and molded him into being what he is. It's happening right now. Simple distractions can ruin you. You can lose your life. People move, when these emotions and everything are involved, when you have a need for the physical touch of a person, whether it's a man or a woman, whether you're heterosexual or homosexual, you must understand that could be the end of your life. Because this person is very cunning. They know how to woo you. They know how to get you in a compromising position in order to victimize you. You have no identity. You have no value of self. Having that comes with the lost friendships. It comes with the alienation of people. Not to get off on a tangent, but I get tired of dapping dudes up, talking to people that I know don't fuck with me. It's very tiring. I can look at a person, I can feel them and know that they don't really rock with me like this. Some people I see them, I can look at them and tell they're intentionally not trying to make eye contact with me to avoid speaking to me when I go out in some cases. It's very tiring. I don't care, but I'm not going to be the one faking the funk. I'm not going to fake speak to you. Now, I could be cordial. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not going to be in your face when I know you don't fuck with me like that. But a lot of people have to do that because they don't want to be talked about as he acts funny. Man, I don't know what he on, man. He different, man. You're the same? 2012, you and 2022, you is the same person? Please get the fuck away from me. You're dead. You've died. Because you didn't want to grow. Man, like I said, just a small tangent. I'll get off on that. I'll do another separate video on that. But for those who have not watched this series, go and watch it and look at all of the details. You may have to play it. You may have to rewind it. But go and look at all of the details, the small details in this series, and you'll see what I mean. You have to be on your pivot at all times. We're in a very careless world, a very evil world. When you have a society that has negated values and morals, that is a very dangerous place to be. This is why they hide. The KKK hide under robes, because they can't be found out. You have people like that are the same color as you, black, brown, or other, that are predators and are fakers, and they hide under masks every day. This is why depression and anxiety, this is why all of these things are at an all-time high, because people are faking who they are. They're faking who they are. They're a friend to everyone. Everybody is cool. Everybody is not fucking cool. They're not. Everybody is not your ace, your home. They're not. But that's my reaction and breakdown of the DAHMER series. You guys let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. It's the Date Master.